The Grand Council chamber of the Galactic Coalition stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian, its crystalline walls reflecting the bioluminescent displays of 1,000 different species. At its center, High Arbiter Zexthol's 4 eyes blazed with indignation as he stared at the human delegation's response floating before him in holographic text. "This cannot be serious," Zexthol hissed through his translator, his chitinous mandibles clicking in agitation. "They mock us." Ambassador Kriva of the hegemony leaned forward, her serpentine neck coiling with concern. Perhaps there was a translation error. Surely no species would respond to our ultimatum with this. The message hung in the air, burning bright against the chamber's shadows. "To the esteemed members of the Galactic Council, we have received your demand for immediate surrender and integration into your collective. After careful consideration by our leadership, we must respectfully decline. However, we appreciate the invitation and would like to counteroffer with a suggestion that you go pound sand. We've prepared a demonstration of our feelings on the matter. Please enjoy the show. Earth Diplomatic Corps. P.S. Thanks for the coordinates of all your homeworlds. Very helpful." War Marshal Thokran, his massive frame bristling with ceremonial spikes, slammed his fist against the council table. "Insolence! They are a single world, barely past their industrial age. We represent 47 star systems and 600 billion souls." "Sir," interrupted a trembling aide scuttling up to the War Marshal's side, "our deep space sensors are detecting multiple contacts approaching the outer system." "How many ships?" Zexathol demanded. We're not entirely certain, sir. The contacts appear to be broadcasting some form of electromagnetic signal across multiple frequencies." "Battle formations?" asked Kriva. "No, sir. It's music, sir." Very loud music. The chamber fell silent. Through the vast transparasteel windows, pinpricks of light began appearing against the star field. Dozens, then hundreds of vessels dropping out of faster-than-light travel with synchronized precision. "Put their broadcast on speakers," Zexthol ordered. The chamber suddenly erupted with sound, a thunderous, rhythmic pounding accompanied by what could only be described as organized chaos. Human voices shouted over driving beats while instruments wailed in harmonious discord. Several council members clutched their auditory organs in pain. "What is this cacophony?" War Marshal Thokran roared over the noise. Communications Officer Veltai's tentacles danced frantically over her console. "It appears to be something called heavy metal music, sir. Specifically, a song titled Welcome to the Jungle. And, sir, they're broadcasting on our emergency military frequencies." The fleet had arranged itself in perfect formation outside the station's defensive perimeter, not the cold, geometric patterns favored by military strategists, but something far more disturbing. They had spelled out words in their positioning. "Turn off that noise and get me a visual on their formation," Zexathol commanded. The music ceased, leaving an uncomfortable silence. The main display flickered to life, showing the human fleet from above. 200 ships hung in space, their positions carefully calculated to form letters visible from the station. The message read, "Surprise," by the 7 nebulae, whispered Ambassador Kriva. How did they coordinate such precise movements while playing that music? Before anyone could answer, a new voice crackled through the communication system, warm, friendly, and absolutely terrifying in its casual confidence. "Good morning, Council members. This is Admiral Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Force. Beautiful day for a little chat, isn't it?" Zexthol activated the reply channel, his voice tight with controlled fury. "Admiral Chen, you are in violation of Galactic Coalition space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." Laughter, genuine, delighted laughter, echoed through the chamber. "Oh, that's rich. You folks invite yourselves to our little corner of space, demand we surrender, and now you're upset that we RSVP'd to your party? That's not very hospitable. You dare mock the council?" War Marshal Thokran bellowed. "Mock? Oh no, Marshal. We're not mocking anything." Admiral Chen's voice remained cheerful. "We're demonstrating. See, you made a fundamental error in your intelligence gathering." The human ships began moving, their formation shifting with fluid grace. Within moments, they had rearranged into a new pattern, a perfect circle surrounding the council station. "You assumed we were weak because we're young," Chen continued. "What you failed to consider is that young species tend to be energetic, unpredictable. We've spent our entire evolutionary history fighting each other, and we've gotten quite creative about it. Impossible, Zexthal snarled. Our intelligence reports show you've barely achieved interstellar flight. Your intelligence reports are 6 months old, Chen replied. Funny how fast things can change when you give a species like ours proper motivation. You want to know what we've been doing since your little ultimatum? We've been having the most wonderful time reverse engineering all that wreckage you left behind from your demonstration attacks. The council members exchanged horrified glances. They had destroyed 3 human outposts to demonstrate their power, never considering that humans might learn from the debris. Your weapons are impressive, Chen admitted, but they're also predictable. Standard coalition technology, all following the same design principles. Very efficient. Very logical. The Admiral's voice turned sharp. We're neither of those things. Without warning, the human ships opened fire, not at the station but past it, their weapons carving geometric patterns in space with surgical precision. The light show was beautiful, artistic, and absolutely horrifying in its implications. That display required calculations beyond our finest computers, Veltai whispered. Each shot was coordinated to the microsecond, Chen's voice continued, pride evident. And we did it while playing music and maintaining a conversation. We call it multitasking. It's a uniquely human talent. War Marshal Thokran's spikes drooped. What do you want? Want? We want you to leave. All of you. Pack up your fancy station, take your ultimatums, and find someone else to bully. Admiral Chen's tone remained conversational. Because if you don't, we're going to introduce you to another human concept. Asymmetrical warfare. You cannot defeat the combined might of the coalition. Defeat? Who said anything about defeat? Chen laughed again. We don't need to defeat you. We just need to make your lives unpleasant enough that picking on other species seems like a better idea than dealing with us. The human ships began broadcasting again. Not music this time, but a steady stream of data. Mathematical proofs, scientific discoveries, artistic creations, and philosophical treatises flooded coalition networks. Consider this a gift, Chen announced. Everything we've learned, everything we've created, everything we are, we're sharing it freely with every species in your coalition. Let them decide for themselves whether they want to be ruled or liberated. As the data flood continued, reports began streaming in from across coalition space. Rebellions were sparking on a dozen worlds. Member species were demanding answers about Earth, about humans, about why the Council had tried to suppress such fascinating people. High Arbiter Zexthal stared at the tactical display, watching his carefully constructed empire begin to crumble under the weight of human curiosity and defiance. You've doomed yourselves, he said finally. The coalition will not forget this insult. Good, Admiral Chen replied cheerfully. Because we won't forget you either. And we're very, very good at holding grudges. Just ask the dinosaurs. Oh wait, you can't. We outlasted them too. The human fleet began moving away from the station, their formation shifting into something resembling a middle finger, a gesture whose meaning transcended species barriers. Pleasure doing business with you folks, came Admiral Chen's parting words. Try not to let the door hit you on the way out of our galaxy. As the human ships disappeared into faster-than-light travel, leaving the Council station alone and surrounded by the growing chaos of their collapsing authority, High Arbiter Zexthal finally understood the true horror of what they had awakened. Humanity hadn't just sent warships. They had sent hope.